Yes, she went. Yeah. How was she preaching?
The Jamaica free.
I don't know, ask her. Passable. Not as good as if we had gone and bought
See people chit-chatting away. I see Bonnie hitting people. I don't know what's going on. I put my eyes down for 1 second to open up my Bible, and all of y'all are already misbehaving.
Yeah, she started.
I've got to get caught back up.
Gotta get caught back up. There you go. All right. Is it one lick for every Wednesday that you weren't here?
Yeah.
Is that it?
It is for every person.
Oh, for every person. Except the preacher, right?
No,
Ah.
you get two.
I get 2 extra. Oh, all right. Well, looks like
Watch out, we might
Sister
just
Bonnie's
gang
going to
up
be
on
in a
you.
bunch of my sermons as illustrations now. My grandfather had an old wise saying that said, "You can't keep birds from flying over your head, but you can keep them from building nests on your head."
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
And he started off a conversation one night with that, and I had no idea where he was going with it or what prompted him. I said, "Well, Grandpa," I was like, that's a weird way to start off a conversation, yeah." And so, but however, he started it that way to get my attention, and that, sure enough, that got my attention. And what led us into a discussion from that example or illustration, as you may say, was about lust. And so I finally put the two together. So I'm like, oh, so the birds represent the lust. And he goes, exactly. He goes, lust is all around you. You can't keep it from flying over your head, but you can keep it from building nests on your head. And that brings us to Matthew chapter 5, looking at verses 27 through 32. So far in the Sermon on the Mount, specifically beginning at verse 21 all the way to 48, Jesus is going to be giving 6 contrasts. And we focused last Wednesday on that first contrast, which was what?
Mother.
Yes, murder.
Mother.
Murder. And so they've heard that it was said that you shall not murder, correct? Yeah, the law taught that. And even the old ancient rabbis had taught them that. But, however, what they taught was that you can be angry with someone as long as you want. Just don't commit murder. So Jesus says, "But I say unto you, do not even be angry." Why?
That can lead to murder.
That's where it all starts. Exactly. That's where it all starts. And it can lead to murder. And so Jesus gave different types of levels of what anger looks like. And we won't go into all the specific details and discussions that we've had. We're just kind of giving a little bit of a review to get people caught up. But verse 21 through 48, Jesus is going to be given 6 contrast principles, okay, from what the old law said, what the ancient rabbis had taught, and in contrast to what Jesus is going to be telling them. Jesus taught much differently than the Pharisees and the scribes and the Sadducees. Why is that? Unlike the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees, Jesus taught with what?
Authority.
Authority. There we go. Yes, he taught with authority and not like the scribes and Pharisees. That would include Sadducees as well. And so now we're going to be looking at the next 2. I've decided to go ahead and put lust and divorce, together. And hopefully we'll at least nail those 2 down this evening. And so can I get somebody to go ahead and read verses 27 through 32?
You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks on a woman to lust for her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if your right eye makes you stumble, tear it out and throw it from you. For it is better for you that one of the parts of your body perish than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand makes you stumble, cut it off and throw it from you, for it is better for you that one of the parts of your body perish than for your whole body to go into hell. And it was said, whoever sends his wife away, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except for the cause of unchastity, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery.
All right, thank you. Now, the Jews understood that God condemned physical adultery. I mean, that goes all the way back to Exodus chapter 20, verse 14. But Jesus told them that mental adultery, lust of the thought, lust of the heart, mental adultery is just as sinful and wrong as committing the physical act. But why would Jesus even bring up mental adultery to begin with?
Because it's like the anger, it will lead to that. It can lead to that.
Yes, it's like the anger. That's where it all begins. It begins inside, and it will lead up to physical adultery. And now we are going to hopefully get in. Maybe, I mean, like I said, hopefully tonight. If not, then not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. We can cover that. But we'll look at reasons why mental adultery or lust of the heart is not grounds for divorce. Only the physical act of adultery is the grounds for divorce and remarriage. I have a lot of people that have often asked, saying, well, Jesus said that, like, adultery, I mean, the lust of it is like adultery itself. And so why can't I have the grounds for adultery? Well, we're going to look into those reasons, okay? Hopefully tonight, if not, then the following Wednesday. But the thought is where it all begins. And I always put it like this. If a man is lusting, a married man is lusting after another woman, what he is saying implicitly is that if I had the opportunity to sleep with that other woman, I would. Is that bad? Yes, it is. Obviously, it is. But now here's where the issue comes in. Jesus brought up the issue of mental adultery because, yes, just like anger, it can lead to the physical act itself. But also, he brought it up because of what the Pharisees were teaching as well. In addition, Jesus wants the people to have a righteousness which surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees. Remember our key verse, verse 20, okay? That being the righteousness of God. To be in a right and genuine relationship with Jesus based upon his standard that transforms you inside and out, okay? So if you want to put a lesson or a sermon together, and I did a sermon on this, called MDR. Yes, marriage, divorce, and remarriage. MDR. Always like that title. Like FDR, but no, MDR. Yes. MDR, when you put it that way, it kind of makes it stick as to what you are talking about. Marriage, divorce, and remarriage. And so let's begin by looking at verses 27 through 30. What Jesus tells us is, number one, protect your heart and mind. To protect your heart and mind. He says, watch your thoughts. But I say unto you, everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery in the heart with that woman. Again, just like I mentioned, it's saying that if a married man lusted after another woman, inwardly in his heart, he is saying that if I had the opportunity to commit the physical act of adultery with that woman, then I would. The seventh commandment was primarily given to protect marriage, and the penalty for disobeying it was severe. Look over at Leviticus chapter 20. Let's go back real quick to the Old Testament. Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. Anybody there?
And the man that commits adultery with another man's wife, even he that commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Woo! There you go.
But they
Just-
weren't man they caught once before, that woman and man that Jesus said was drawn in the ground and said,
Oh, yeah, when they brought the adulterous
but
woman
they-
to him.
yeah, but they wasn't doing the man.
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, that's one of the issues there. It's like, yeah, well, where's the man at? Yeah, where's the man at? But of course,
there's two guilty.
yeah, there's two guilty, yeah. But obviously, I mean, the intent of them doing that was not to follow God's law. It was trying to trap Jesus.
That was
Yeah.
the Pharisees?
What's that?
Was that the Pharisees?
I believe they were involved in it, but I believe it was more than them.
Okay.
Let me double check real quick. I know it's in John 8. Yeah, it was the Pharisees and the scribes.
Okay. That explains a lot right there.
So the Jews were very well aware of this. So they knew that you cannot commit adultery. They knew that if you did, then the penalty for the adulterer and the adulteress was death. So what's the problem? Well, again, it's what the Pharisees were teaching them. The Jewish rabbis of old were teaching that, this is recorded in the Talmud from Rabbi Yoma, section 69, and Rabbi Barakot, section 22. They both say you cannot have adultery, but you can look at her as long as you want.
Don't touch.
Don't touch. Yep. Look as long as you want, but don't touch. Now here's something interesting. Let's look at the 10th commandment. Exodus chapter 20, verse 17.
You shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor.
All right, so you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not what? Covet the neighbor's wife.
Covet anything that belongs to you.
Covet anything. Anything that's material. I mean, yes, that includes the neighbor's wife as well. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. The 10th commandment condemned coveting a neighbor's wife, indicating that the desire preceding adultery was also wrong. But Jewish teachers evidently placed little emphasis on the sin of unlawful desire. Can you believe that? As long as you don't do the actual act, mentally, you can look at her all you want. Jesus said that the thought that produces adultery is as sinful as the act itself. But I say unto you, going back to our text of Matthew 5, I say unto you. Remember, Jesus is calling one to a higher level of spirituality, a higher level of righteousness that surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees. So, of course, regarding verse 28, that which is true of a man is also true of a woman. So, in other words, if the roles were reversed, the same still applies. The underlying principle is that actions come from the thoughts. Look over at Matthew 15. Somebody read verse 19.
For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defiles not a man.
Oh, so verse 19. For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, and what's that third one? Adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, and slander. Earlier, Jesus had mentioned that if we want to be God approved, we need to do some spring cleaning. Am I right? Go back to chapter 5, verse 8. What does he say? Blessed are the what?
Pure in heart.
Pure in heart. Folks, we got to do some spring cleaning. Spring cleaning in our heart. So to control your actions, you must control your thoughts. Again, You can't keep birds from flying over your head. I know that we look around society today. I mean, I did a lesson not long ago about modest dress and how a lot of attires, especially at the gym nowadays, cause a lot of distractions. Social media, you got advertisements. I mean, you even have an advertisement or a commercial where all it is supposed to be advertising a lawnmower, and yet who's driving a lawnmower? Some woman in skinny, short shorts, bikini looking types. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why do they do that?
Sex sells.
But this can
Sex
also
sells.
apply to how men dress that attracts a woman to the man.
Oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the roles, again, it's the same still applies to even the man as well.
Right.
Yep. I mean, I even see, some guys at the gym, I don't know why they wear that. It doesn't even look comfortable, but they have like these sleeveless ones, but they have like this part right here just cut all the way down, and they have just one little small thread that's keeping it intact. And I mean, you see I don't want to say, but you see things are exposed right there, and I'm just like, come on, guys. I'm like, really? It's like sometimes I just kind of want to go over there and just go. Yeah. Oops, my bad. Now you can't wear it. You gotta put on something different.
They go out like that.
What's that?
The men, they'll go out like
I know that they'll go out like that. I know. I agree.
Have them come in the shop dressed like that.
I know. I agree. I mean, I know. I agree. And so, I mean, it applies to both genders, male and female. And the thing is, it's that, we try to self-justify ourselves. We try to make excuses, and the excuses that I'm kind of getting sick and tired of hearing of. But it's like, well, they shouldn't be looking at me anyways to begin with. And it's like, you're wearing that because you want people to look. You want people to stare. Yes.
I think these days it'd be scary to wear stuff like that.
Yeah.
What? Which
It's-
one?
I said, I think these days it'd be scary. I mean, the way people are so aggressive these days.
Oh, I know.
But it doesn't stop the girls from wearing them.
I know. It doesn't. Which is
I
why
don't know why they do.
when we do some spring cleaning, when we're pure in heart, going back to simply what Paul says in 1 Timothy chapter 2 about modest dress, is that the sister in Christ or the brother in Christ may think that it's nobody's business what I wear, has forgotten about God, because it is God's business. And so the sister in Christ who cares about what she wears and the image or the message that she's given out by her clothes or his clothes is one who considers God. How would my God want me to wear? Or how would my God want me to dress? Is what I'm going to wear, would it be acceptable to my Heavenly Father or would it not? They consider God. And when you consider God, then everything else will follow through. Then you would want to dress in a modest apparel. Okay.
I got a question. Like you say when the guy give us a thing
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. The whole thing, if you killing your family, like your kids, your grandkids, they're looking that.
Oh.
And you kill them
Mm.
because right now they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
When they grow up, they
Yeah.
see mom and dad doing it. I'm doing it too.
Exactly.
And what happened with this generation? You gonna kill them
Yes.
for that. And we not got no good generation.
Mm-hmm.
We give it a sample to them.
That's right.
And then go to high school, college, and say, oh, mama doing it, I have to do it in there.
Yes.
What we do it to them?
Yeah.
We kill them.
That's right.
That's why it's hard for them to see us a good Christian, or a bad Christian, or a good person, or a bad person to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they gonna got kids, and they say, oh, my grandpa doing it. We got to do it.
Mm.
That's the next generation after us.
Mm.
We have to give a good example
Mm-hmm.
to them.
We have to be a good example.
That's another
Yeah.
reason.
Yes, it is another reason. We have to set, a good example for our children. I mean, our children are going to see how it is that we dress. They're going to watch our actions. They're going to hear our words. They're going to watch our every move, basically. And so what kind of example are we setting our children? And so getting back to this idea of controlling your thoughts, First off, I kind of want to lay a few guidelines. Is that Jesus was not talking about merely looking at someone of the opposite sex, okay? He's talking about lusting, okay? Lusting does not simply mean just like, see, like right now, I'm looking at Bonnie, I'm looking at Karen, I'm looking at Dorcas, I'm looking at Kay, I'm looking at everybody, really, as I'm giving this lesson. Okay, so Jesus is not simply just talking about looking at somebody. There were a set of the Pharisees that were known as the bleeding Pharisees. They were called this because they went around with their eyes on the ground, lest they look upon a woman. Yeah. Which, again, I find interesting. The Pharisees are the ones who are teaching from the ancient rabbis who are saying that it's okay to look upon a woman all you want. But then yet there is at least a sect of these Pharisees that did not agree with it. And yet they took it to the extreme. And they would keep their eyes on the ground lest they look upon a woman. And thus they would constantly bump into trees, posts, and walls. Hence is why they were given the name bleeding Pharisees, because blood would start dripping from their forehead.
Then they'd have to go see the nurse, and that nurse was a woman.
Yep. That's a good point. Then they had to probably go to the hospital, and the hospital may have a nurse that's a woman. So number one, Jesus was not just talking about merely just looking at somebody, okay? All right, he's talking about lust. Lust is an intent of wanting to have a sexual relation with that other person. Second, Jesus did not have in mind a desire for one's wife or husband. That desire is a God-given desire, and it is intended to strengthen a marriage. Look over back with me to Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon. Not familiar, it's right after Ecclesiastes. Song of Solomon, chapter 4. At this point, Solomon is married to his bride. And I love what he says right here. Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 9. It says, "You captivated my heart, my sister, my bride. You have captivated my heart with one glance of your eyes." It is important for the husband and the wife to know that the husband and the wife is interested in him or her. Let me phrase it this way better. It's important for the wife to know that her husband is interested in her, and it's important for the husband to know that his wife is interested in him. Blessed is the man whose wife has created such a look. This glance of a look, the glance of your eyes, is that look that the spouse gives to her husband or he gives to his wife, the look that says,
Ew.
"Hey, come on, let's spend some time together."
This chapter is about the honeymoon.
What's that?
This chapter is about the honeymoon.
Is about the honeymoon, yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to go into specific details since we are recording right now, and I don't want to get any graphic or anything, but we all know what that
Hey,
look
I can label
that
this.
is talking about,
I
Solomon's
can
talking about.
label
right?
this lesson mature on YouTube.
What's that?
Verse
it's
verse
right
9,
now the
there's
setting.
No spot in thee.
What's that?
There is no spot in thee. Verse 7 means there's no flaws.
No flaws, no spot. Yes.
Everything's
Perfect.
beautiful.
Everything's perfect and beautiful. Yes. And so, blessed is the man whose wife has created such a look. Blessed is the wife whose husband has created such a look. This glance of the eyes, it communicates without words a message of love and romance. There's beauty when a couple can share this private, secret love language, this private, secret glance of the eyes, because that is something that God has designed. That is a God-given desire that we are to have with our spouse. And it's always and only to be done in the sanctity of marriage. That is what God designed it to be for.
Does anybody have a different version that says something besides my sister, my spouse,
My sister, my bride.
my bride?
My bride, yeah.
My sister, my bride.
Why sister?
My sister.
Probably
That is a good question. I actually have, hang on. Let me pull up my notes because I actually have done an exegetical study on Song of Solomon. Let me pull it up. So cool
And
about
with a
phones
single
today.
strand of your necklace, what does that imply?
Jewelry.
It was a common type of love poetry.
You think so?
Call your lover or spouse, brother or sister.
It is. It represents this idea of like closeness. Yes. You know how like siblings have a close bond? That's kind of how it also needs to be within the marriage. Is that you need to have like a close bond, like a family bond with your wife.
So it's not sister in Christ or sister Jew.
No, because she's a Shulamite woman. She's not a Jew. Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna take me a while to get my notes up.
Did she come from Lebanon?
I don't know.
No, she came from Shulam. Yeah. And that goes back to chapter 1.
Well, I was looking at verse 8.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what it says there.
So,
yeah, come with me from Lebanon, my bride.
yeah.
But if you're talking about like where she's from, though, no, she's from Shulam. Yeah, because she's a Shulamite woman.
Oh, so does he mean come with me?
Yeah,
to
come with me from.
leave?
Yeah, come with me from Lebanon. So it seems that like perhaps maybe their honeymoon is taking place at Lebanon.
You're gonna have to teach Song of Solomon pretty soon.
Hey, we're almost done with
Well.
Ephesians. Sunday morning class.
Well, let's just say that after Ephesians, I do plan on doing Song of Solomon, but it's going to be a special class. Yeah. Yeah. Since you brought it up, Craig, but that's all I can say about it right now.
18
But getting back to Matthew 5 real quick. I mean, yes, I want to spend more time on Song of Solomon because, I mean, it's a beautiful book. It is one of my favorite Old Testament books. But getting back to Matthew 5. So Jesus is not talking about looking at a person of the opposite sex. He's not talking about looking the way a husband looks at his wife or the wife looks at her husband in marriage. Rather, again, he's talking about lustful intent. Someone who is not that person's wife or husband. If one looks to lust, that is why he is looking, then it is sin. In another phrase, if you are looking in order to lust, then yes, that is a sin. What is it that leads to adultery?
The mind.
The mind, uncontrolled sexual desires. Because now you have it all in your mind, you have it all in your heart, it's all uncontrolled. You've allowed those birds to build nests in your head. So if you don't get it under control, then oh yes, it's going to ruin and destroy your marriage. So Jesus says he has already committed adultery with her in his heart. All right, so for quite some time, many people have thought, since the act of adultery is grounds for divorce and remarriage, then the lust and thought of adultery is applicable for divorce and remarriage. Truthfully, it is not. Lust is not the grounds for divorce and remarriage. And here are the reasons why. Number one, if you're taking notes, adultery here is in the heart. Adultery, in its practical application, involves an actual intercourse with someone else's mate. Number two,
Or
not
just
fast enough at writing, then I can get these printed out for you.
or it could be just another person in general. That other person don't have to be married or nothing.
Oh yeah, just another person in general. Second, Adultery in the heart is not the physical joining of one body to another. You can cross-reference 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16 with that.
It's not what?
It is not the physical joining of one body to another. Number 3. If, all right, hear me out. If, capital I, capital F, if adultery in the heart were grounds for divorce and remarriage, then it would be okay to give the electric chair to the person who is angry. I'll say that again. If adultery in the heart were grounds for divorce and remarriage, then it would be okay to give the electric chair to the person who is angry.
Because angry leads to murder.
Because anger leads to murder. Yeah. And since the consequence for physical act of adultery is divorce and remarriage, and the guilty party can no longer remarry at all, then you can apply that to a person who's just angry. Why not give the electric chair or the death penalty to the person who's just angry? That wouldn't seem right.
Can't do that.
Number 4. Again, if, capital I, capital F, if adultery in the heart were grounds for divorce and remarriage, then everyone would be divorcing their spouse. Because who in here has not ever lusted? Show of hands. Anybody in here has never ever lusted? Okay. Then why not divorce your spouse? If it were grounds for divorce and remarriage, then everyone would be divorcing their spouse because everyone has lusted. Those are the 4 reasons. You need me to repeat any of them?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you said that adultery is a married man committing fornication with another man's wife.
Another man's wife, or just another woman.
Could be a
Another
single lady.
female,
It could be a
whether
single
she's
lady.
married or
Yes.
not.
Yeah, whether she's married or not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Braden corrected me on that a second ago. Yeah. So it can be another man's wife, or it can just be another woman in general. A single lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seems like Solomon was the king of the person cheating on his spouse.
Yeah. And this is 700 wives and concubines.
What's the difference between a wife and a concubine anyway? I never understood.
Concubine had 2 sort of roles. They're seen more as like a servant, more than just the wife. It's like a servant role type woman than a wife type role. But also, the majority of those concubines were also just for political marriages, political purposes. Yeah. All right. So, furthermore, just because adultery in the heart is not grounds for divorce and remarriage, it still does not make it okay. If we are struggling with lust in the heart, we need to do some spring cleaning. And not just clean out the heart. Because if you just clean it out and it's empty, what could come back?
Same thing.
The same thing. And in fact, it could come back even stronger. So when we clean it out, we need to replace it with things that are good. And some have asked me the question like, well, if I struggle with lust, especially sexual lust, I mean, what is it that can help me to not look at that woman in that kind of way? Well, there are good practical ways. Is number 1, you got to teach your mind and your heart to look at that woman as one who's made in the image of God. And if you are using that woman for your own selfish desires, what are you doing to that image? You're corrupting God's image. Another way is that you have to look beyond that person and recognize that person not just as a woman, but as a soul. And would you be willing to do anything to hurt that soul and to jeopardize that soul for your own selfish reasons? Not reasons, that's a bad word. Own selfish desires. Yeah. And so I've shared those two ways. So you have to train your mind and your thoughts to look at that person as one who's made in the image of God, not to be used for your own selfish desires, because if you do, you will tarnish and corrupt God's image. And secondly, you've got to look at that person beyond who they are and to see them as a precious soul, one that you do not want to jeopardize. You have to train your mind with that. And I've had many who have come back to me years later and has shared with me that that those two things were like one of the best advices that they've ever received. And they've got it under control now. And so I think if you can train your mind to do that, it'll be a lot helpful. Any other inputs or thoughts?
No, yes. You got to say King David.
Yes.
Like King David.
Uh-huh.
He went in the upper room,
Mm-hmm.
and this lady was naked and taking a shower.
Mm-hmm.
And she got a husband too.
Oh, yes.
And what King David
That's
said,
right. Mm-hmm.
I need her for me.
Yeah.
And what happened? And later on, she said, "Is the wife of your soldier?"
Yeah.
And what happened? King David do? Take him away and kill him.
Yeah.
He have a son, and God punished him because he adultered with her.
That's right.
You
That's
gotta
right.
blame
And
her for some of that too.
Huh?
You gotta blame her for some of that too. She shouldn't have been on the road.
that's true. They both were guilty.
But was
Well-
she doing it for that purpose?
No,
No.
no, but
No, but she had to know that other people could see her.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
if
don't
you've
know.
ever been to another nation where they have outside showers,
Yeah.
they usually have some kind
On
of
the roof.
screens,
Mhm.
To cover.
and for that level
Mhm.
of view. But when he's above looking down,
Down, you can see. Yeah.
she thought she was by herself.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
really.
Necessary inference, probably.
Uh,
We don't know for sure, but he is correct in saying
I think
that
she's-
a lot of houses built at that time, and they find this just through archaeological ruins and discoveries that they dug up, is that a lot of the construction of their houses were built in levels where, yeah, there was some kind of opening, but if you were at eye level, you still wouldn't be able to see. But it says that he was actually up and he was looking down at her, yes. And so maybe perhaps that there was some kind of hole above. He was like, yeah.
he should have turned around and went back inside.
Yep. Well, what he should have done was the fact that his men were the ones who were convincing him, no, we got this, battle taken care of. You just stay back here. Now, he should have gone with them. If he would have gone with them, it probably would have avoided the whole thing. He would have kept himself busy.
That's a good point.
Yes. He would have, involved, yes.
Idle,
You see his
Idle
kids.
hands. Is
Make-
it?
devil's workshop.
That's
And
right.
then usually his kids have the same stuff what his dad did.
Yes.
His kids.
Absolutely. And I think, that incident and event is recorded in the scriptures for our learning. And here's the thing. We also need to understand that adultery is wrong, it's sinful. Lust of the heart is wrong and it's sinful. But God, is he also one who forgives? Absolutely. David repented of that. And I believe that Bathsheba also repented of that too. Because
But
we
they
also do
still-
read some good things about Bathsheba. Even in Song of Solomon, we read about some good things about her. And so I like to believe that she sure enough did repent it as well. And so let's not always just keep bashing them about their mistakes and the bad things that they've done. Let's learn from it so we don't repeat it. And let's also understand that they repented of it and
they paid their consequences.
they paid their consequences.
Everyone has consequences
Yes.
to no matter what you do.
That's right. Absolutely.
Book of regrets.
Even though
Book
we're
of-
forgiven,
There's still
They get
consequences.
consequences.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, a man
so
who
they did that.
Yeah, I mean, a man who contacts, sexually transmitted disease for sleeping around with a bunch of women, he comes to Christ, he obeys the gospel, he's forgiven. But does that take away his STD?
No.
No, he still has to deal with that. Those are consequences. Consequences are there for a reason. We can be forgiven, but consequences are those that are there to teach us valuable lessons.
Lung cancer, emphysema, cirrhosis of the liver,
Oh yeah, list can go on, am I right?
AIDS.
AIDS, HIV, yep. All right, well, if there's not anything else, then we will come back there, not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, if the good Lord wills. All right, thank you, everybody.